Greetings, I am Louis Orlando, usually referred to as Dr. Orlando, and this is Wednesday Night Undressed. We're joined here tonight by Jason Springer,
my man,
Fernando Brenan Conroy,
Hiya.
and Ivo Ivanov.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy and Kathleen, they are not here. They are on a top secret diplomatic mission. Oh, I've probably said too much.
Well, we definitely miss Kathleen.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, first things first. Since we are here in a bar, I want to start this properly and ask everybody what they're drinking tonight. However, I want to start with Mr. Conroy, since this is the family place. Tell me what the best drink that is served at Conroys would be.
That's a hard question.
That is a very hard question because, what would be the best drink that we serve here? Are we talking my personal favorite?
Yeah, we can start there.
My personal favorite would probably be, there's a bottle drink we serve called Truly Spiked and Sparkling.
Uh-huh.
It's a kind of sparkling, it's kind of like an alcoholic sparkling water. It's about 5% and the one we have here is blood orange flavor.
Uh-huh.
And it almost kind of tastes kind of like a LaCroix, but it's boozy.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's really, really nice.
Uh-huh.
As for what I wish we had here,
Right.
I wish we kept nice scotch or absinthe here, but I do not want to put the bartenders through the hell that is preparing absinthe properly.
Whoa.
I love absinthe.
So,
It's dangerous.
I've been to a couple of places that serve absinthe, but they don't prepare it. They basically require that
fire.
the person that is
Yes.
drinking it prepare it. Are you saying that that's not an option for this place?
It's harder because I don't trust 90% of the clientele here with a glass carafe to make
Gotcha.
it themselves.
This thing is dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It kills brain cells.
Yeah,
it will
does.
make you absent-minded.
It is my favorite.
Boo.
It is my favorite alcohol.
It's true, though.
available, But oh my god, yeah, it will ruin you.
What are you drinking over there, Fernando?
It's amazing seasonal beer called Miller Lite.
Righteous.
It's like water, but
Got a little color,
it's a little more expensive.
a little bit of bubble.
No alcohol, so can't complain.
Mr. Springer?
I'm drinking Fernando's twin. It's called Coors Light.
It's righteous.
It's pretty much right in the same wheelhouse as far as the water.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Cool. Mr. Ivanov, what are you going to end up drinking? You haven't gotten your drink yet. What are you going to start with today?
Oh, today, or what is the best drink they make?
Let's start with what's the best drink they make in this
Well,
place.
it's obvious, isn't it?
It's
It's a
obvious
single
to me.
toe Ivanov.
There you go.
The single toe Ivanov was invented here, and it will remain, I believe, the greatest achievement, bartending achievement of this place. Now, it involves ginger ale and rum, and a little bit of mint and ice. And it's heavenly. It's heavenly. What I'm going to end up drinking most likely bourbon and Coke. It's just because rum is not good in the winter. For some reason, winter is for red wine or bourbon or whiskey,
Bloody
not for
Mary.
gin and tonics. And
Oh, here comes Jen right now.
Which, by the way, this place is a very good Bloody Mary as well, actually.
yeah.
I think Ivo needs a drink.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I have a Bud Light? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Come on, we can trifecta. Miller Lite, Coors Light, Bud Light.
No. Single toe bourbon and Coke.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, I started off with Henry's Hard Soda just because I've decided that I think I've told everybody else here that I don't drink beer anymore. I've decided that beer makes me nauseous.
Yeah.
So it's because
It
it's so
slushes around. and-
Yeah.
I could agree with you. Outside of like a very few like ciders and maybe Guinness, I do not enjoy beer at all.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of done with beer, and if I'm not drinking hard liquor, I'm going to find something like a cider. I usually will drink a cider or these hard sodas that I've become just absolutely in love with.
Those are pretty tasty.
Yeah,
Very elitist.
Yeah.
Well, that's me. That's me. All right. So, first legitimate question of the podcast. I want to know if what everybody's bad word is. The reason I came up with this idea is because I was on Reddit. I know it's shocking that I would be on a site wasting time on the internet.
Yeah.
But they were talking about the poll that they do every year that talks about the most annoying words. And so I just started to question, is there a word or is there a phrase that pretty much sends you into a tizzy when you hear it?
So not your favorite bad word, just the word that you can't stand.
What is the word that you cannot stand?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll start. For me, it is a phrase. It is whenever I hear somebody say, between he and I, or between she and I, because I'm a grammar Nazi. And it's a prepositional phrase. And the pronouns that you should use are objective form pronouns. It should not be between he and I. It should be between him and me. And so, for as long as I live, whenever I hear somebody say, between he and I, it drives me fucking batty.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
How about you, Ivanov?
I have a million, and now that you included phrases, this really expands it. For example, I hate when people go preemptively with a statement just before they're about to make an opposite statement. I'm talking about people that say, I'm not a racist. Then you know what happens next, right? Yep. But this and it. Or I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a Republican. But so this drives me nuts because it's a preemptive, like passive defensive move, and you know that they're going to say something racist or they're going to say something obnoxious. I hate, when people say things like a lot of people say. Or a lot, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. Right. Or people are saying. A lot of people say. A lot of people are saying this and that.
Or nobody knew.
Nobody knew. How about this one? Believe me. After you say something that has no factual, context, or any kind of connection
valid
to
truth.
facts, and he ends it with "Believe me."
Right.
Believe me. Believe me. Trust me.
Just because
trust
it's
me.
you.
Yeah, because trust
That's
me.
what makes it true.
He spied on me. Trust me. And somehow people do. That's what's amazing. In terms of, how about when you speak of grammar, how about this one, I can care less.
Oh, yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah,
that means you care.
Yep.
That means you care because you can actually, you have to say, I can't care less.
Here's the thing, though. I can never keep that in mind. Whenever I actually refuse to say that particular phrase because I can never remember when I'm pissed off about something.
Yep.
To say whether or not it is I could care less or I couldn't care less.
Same with I could give a shit.
You couldn't care less if you care for this.
Right.
Words. I don't like splatter, regurgitate, pus. Almost any word that ends. Almost any word that ends on the vowel like.
What about
larva.
moist? Are you one of those people that can't stand the word
I know.
moist?
I mean, it's a famous word for being hated universally.
Right.
But to me, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't understand why people are so averse to that word.
It's just the
I don't get it.
association, associating it with something moist, and you have to wash your hands, and it's probably that. Or you think of something moist, and you think of the xenomorph from Alien.
Right.
I think it's something moist. I think it's like a good piece of cake.
Absolutely not where my mind goes.
Well,
when I hear moist.
but people hate that word, and I not particularly. I don't particularly care about that one word, but there's some other words that I don't necessarily like larva. For some reason, gargle drives me crazy. I don't
None of
like
these words bother me.
I don't like the word derelict for some reason because it doesn't sound like a real word. Derelict, I don't know why, but to me it doesn't sound real. There's probably a very, very, very long list of words that I'm not a big fan of, but. Expressions is usually what
drives people crazy.
What makes me mad. And, I don't like the valley talk. Words that are fillers, for example, the filler used to drive me crazy. When I would say you start talking and your brain is trying to catch up with your speech and you're looking for fillers and it's like, the worst one is what I mean. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? No, I don't. You need to explain what you mean.
I can't read your mind.
You know what I mean?
Did you deal with that as a teacher?
Yes.
How did you deal with it?
Well, in fact, you bring up fillers. My answer would be two. There's two of them. The word like and literally. Literally. Those two, I cannot stand that. And I would sit there and quiz my class. I'd sit there and I would give a little presentation about the word like, and I would tell them it's how you can always spot an American, no matter where you are in the world. If you can just hear someone say, if they just keep using the word like in their conversation, you know they're an American.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of quizzed the class. I said, okay, just, let's continue. I'll continue teaching. Can you ask me questions? Just count how many times you say the word like just in this hour.
Yeah.
And they'd sit there and say, oh, no, we don't do that. Like, I never do that.
Come
Boom,
on.
there's one. Yep, all the time.
Yeah.
All the
Gag
time.
me
But
with a spoon.
Those two are probably my biggest pet peeves, especially literally. Literally, it was the biggest thing I've ever seen. Are you sure it was really the biggest thing you've ever seen?
That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just those two are probably, without a doubt, my biggest pet peeves as far as our language.
Mr. Conroy, what about you?
I have a word because of how it's become used over the past 2 years or so, and then also a situation then also a phrase just because of how it's happened. The word is snowflake. I have come to despise that word because that is the point I can tell in an argument where you are no longer discussing anything factual, you are just discussing someone's personal biases. And that word just immediately turns me off because it says, okay, you're not interested in arguing the point.
Right.
You're just interested in personal attacks. The situational is yeah, but. Because I have seen, it also comes from a realm of the argument, the discussion of someone can make a wonderful point or a wonderful set of points, and it will always be followed by a starting yeah, but, and something generally rather weak in response, and that's supposed to counter your 5-minute soliloquy or logical explanation.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Legitimately, what would be a better, stronger, different response if I make a point that you understand but disagree with? What would be a better comeback?
This is why I was wondering whether to put in yeah, but, because it's very situational.
It is situational.
And it's indicative more of the situation that it's just whenever I hear those two, it puts me on guard of, is this going to be one of these again?
Right.
Yeah.
I hear you. Fernando, you got one?
Well, just between you and I. Well,
damn it!
Yeah, it's hard.
You're no
I
longer
think
allowed.
Ivo did a great coverage on that. However, one thing that I hate is not about much like the wording. It's like when you're talking, usually it happens all the time, like let's say work meetings. And someone start talking over you. That pisses me off. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
You've already done it 4 times. It's all right.
You know what I mean? So I always react in 2 ways. I wish he only go the third way. So usually I react like I keep staring at the person and say, "Are you done?" And then okay, my turn, and calmly and you know how calm
Civil
I am.
way, yeah.
Right. Does that work?
Yes, sometimes. Yeah, it works. At least I think he entertained the crowd around the meeting. And or I kept talking on the same tone, and I can't ignore what they're trying to cross on me, and I keep going. I think that's kind of it's when it really pissed me off.
I get it.
The third thing would be punch it never happened. I think luckily.
But it's an option. Yeah.
You can punch in the face.
Punch a person in the face is a good option. I feel like I've been using. I said and like just now, but this time I actually use both correctly.
Right.
I feel like.
You did
Some of those filler words have infected my language as well, even though I've resisted. I've resisted for a long time, and I worked with my kids and tried to convince them not to say like all the time or But recently, in the last couple of years, and even listening to the podcast, I've realized that I'm using them.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
It's infectious.
I would sit there, when I was teaching, I would sit there and be conscious to not use those words, but I know I would still use those words when I was places like here.
Yes.
I just said like right there.
Yeah.
But I used it correctly.
I was trying to trace back where this started, and I realized it's happened in the last several years.
Really?
And then I realized that I am listening to a shitload of podcasts. every day for 6 hours at least, I listen to podcasts.
It's affecting
and
you
these are
subconsciously.
It's infecting me.
Yeah.
Usually these are people that are just talking to each other, and they use those filler words non-stop. So I'm listening to constantly these speech patterns kind of infecting me, becoming embedded into my speech patterns, and probably this is the reason. That's my guess. Because when you listen on like TV shows, you listen to TV shows, they don't necessarily use this language on TV shows because it's scripted.
Right.
And they're structured. So that's my explanation anyway. It's a good
not
topic.
just that you're getting old.
No, it could be the absinthe.
Yeah.
You know?
It could also be.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It could also be just.
Thanks, Brendan.
I mean, it could also just be as time goes on, as Jason mentioned, you can always tell an American when they say like or, you know. It could also just be as time goes on, you adopt more of the country you reside in's parlance because it just acquires.
Yeah.
So, weird question, maybe not weird. Do they not have filler words in Bulgaria? Is that not a dynamic?
We do, but not like here. Okay. We don't say like or you know all the time. We use more of filler words like you know. It's
Same with Thailand.
Sounds,
As well. Just
sounds.
Like, and then they'll go with a sentence.
And there is more variations, at least on mine. Like I think
with
there
tonal
is
inflection
quite a few, but there is a way more like amount of words that the fillers
here within
and
a
lot of,
sentence here within a sentence you can listen, especially to a teenager, use the word like 10 times.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, and since you guys brought that up, I'm actually trying to be conscious about it.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden very difficult to like.
Suddenly I was listening.
Have to like talk more so than anybody else because I can't.
Yeah,
use
I
the
was
word
listening
like.
to us, trying to catch us, and nobody was saying like. If we didn't bring up the topic, we'll be probably liking every 2 seconds.
God,
Yeah.
All right, next topic: Christmas music. First of all, is there anybody here that hates Christmas music? That's what I want to hear from
Who
first.
doesn't, man?
Okay.
Love Christmas music.
How can you hate Christmas music?
Some people do. Some people
absolutely.
Because it's the same shit every year. It's the same 10 songs.
But you only hear it once a year, so you get kind of
Yeah.
you fill
But
up
for
with
3
it,
weeks
and it starts to get
nonstop.
annoying.
4 weeks.
But then all of a sudden it's gone for 11 months, and then by the time it comes back, you're like, oh, it's nice to hear this again. It's been so long since I've heard this. And then after 3 weeks, you're like, okay, get rid of this shit. This is really starting to bother me.
Yeah.
Do you have a Christmas music playlist, Ivo?
Well, me?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I have some songs that I like, Christmas songs.
Go ahead.
All I want for Christmas is my methadone. All I want for Christmas is a free ride home. All I want for Christmas is this ache to leave my bone. All I want for Christmas is my methadone. That is a fabulous Christmas song by Bob Schneider. It's freaking incredible.
Yes.
What was it? What was the other one? All I want for Christmas is a Subaru. All I want for it was brilliant.
Yeah.
There's like alternative Christmas songs that I like that are funny. There was one walking around in women's underwear. That one was hilarious. Lacy things the wife is missing.
So your milieu for sure is the campy comedy Christmas song.
Just like crazy. Like there was Brenda Lee had one called I Want to Lasso Santa Claus. There was Lasso Santa Claus. There was kind of like almost a kidnapping song. And then there's a bunch of blues songs that are extremely inappropriate about like there was a
Backdoor Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Backdoor Santa by was it Clarence Carter or John Bon
I don't know
Jovi?
who wrote it first, but
But yeah, that was Backdoor Santa. Santa is basically a pervert, waiting for
coming down your chimney.
Yeah.
Waiting to get some cookies.
getting through the chimney and all, coming once a year. Opening.
Okay, I'm not gonna make it.
Unwrapping.
You open that door right there. Yep.
The song
wrapping a big gift. Anyway, so we have this one. Then Tom Waits had one. What was it? A Christmas card from a hooker in Minneapolis.
I don't think I know that one.
That's a great Christmas song.
Can't go wrong with Tom Waits.
It starts
Tom
with
Waits is fantastic.
that Tom Waits song is a classic. It starts with Charlie, I'm pregnant, and that's the beginning of the Christmas card of the
Yeah,
hooker
that's-
in Minneapolis. And there's obviously we have a lot of the traditional songs that I like performed by somebody untraditional.
Yeah.
So I don't care for the jingle fucking bells, like performed
All right,
traditionally.
anybody here got Jingle Bells as their favorite song? I just need to know
No.
before
pass.
Ivo shits on
I
Jingle
think
Bells
that
anymore.
I think that one's burned out for everyone at this point because we've heard it since we were 2.
How about that Wham song, Last Christmas?
I actually like
Gave you
that.
my heart. Neil doesn't
Absolutely
like
love it.
I gave you my heart.
Oh,
I actually enjoy it.
God.
You gave it away.
Oh my God.
This year.
Okay.
All right, so we got Ivo as the comic Christmas guy.
Yeah.
Do you have a style of Christmas song that you like?
I typically like more kind of classic things.
When you say classic, do you mean classic as in
Like
like
classical as far as performance by symphony, things like that.
Right,
Or
right.
if it's going to be sung something like by Bing Crosby. And mainly because when I think of Christmas music, I think of my Christmases as a child going to my grandparents' house, and that was always on at dinner time, and it's just a really good, solid memory. It just felt like Christmas.
Right.
And even as an adult now, when I hear that, it just gives me a nice, warm, fuzzy memory.
Yeah. How about you, Fernando?
I was like interesting. I was just thinking about that like yesterday. Like, how many times did I say like? So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give you a complex.
Okay.
My bad.
So I like that one like at least like the last year and this year, like I played just for fun, like with the kids out of the nowhere, like the Run DMC, Christmas in
Oh, yeah,
Hollis.
that one's
Christmas
I love
in
that.
Hollis.
Christmas
I
in
love that
Hollis.
song.
It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens, and
Mom cooking chicken and collard greens, rice and stuff and macaroni and shit. No.
It's amazing, but I thought like you should have more. That's what I put in my mind. I need to dig into like some alternative or like more versions or
Right.
see what's there. But not much. Like,
AC/DC
You know.
AC/DC had a Christmas song.
is that right?
Yeah, it was about a hooker again, like Christmas hooker or something.
Hookers and Christmas just go together.
Yeah, and they were basically asking
'Cause they,
Santa for a
you know,
I
hooker
don't know
to
what
get
to
naughty
say
under
about my panel
You're-
members. This is an
Christmas
all
tree.
male.
No,
panel,
it makes
so
sense.
We get comments like Christmas
makes-
and hookers go
Can
together.
you
That's
Google
because you're
the
getting
AC/DC
yourself a
Christmas
present for
song?
Christmas. That's all.
AC/DC Christmas song. You gotta Google this. It was not exactly hooker for Christmas, but it was something in that vein. And they were basically asking Santa for a hooker to get naughty under the Christmas tree with the hooker.
Mistress for
That sounds great.
Christmas.
Mistress for Christmas.
There you
Wow.
go. Very good.
All right, Brenan, you are the resident musical person here.
Yeah.
What about you? What makes a good Christmas song for you?
I have no idea because I like Christmas songs that are from such massively different eras and of different styles because the two kinds I like are either like because I grew up as a choir kid, I love choral renditions
Right.
of the old like church Christmas songs but then also my two favorite Christmas songs ever done, one for legitimate this becomes Christmas, and the other for oh my god, what the hell am I listening to? Are both from the 80s.
Really?
So I can't determine what it is that
What are the two songs from the 80s?
so the serious one,
Please don't bring up the Wham song again.
it is not the Wham song, even though I like it.
Queen.
No, my favorite Christmas song of all time is Mavis Staples' Christmas Vacation.
Oh.
To me, and I always play that every single year after I've either taken my last final or I'm done with work for the year, is I always blast that at least once because that to me is Christmas. The joke one is, keep in mind the song was written in 87. It does
Okay.
not have the
All
same
right.
meaning as it does today. Christmas at Ground Zero by Weird Al Yankovic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking how we have a test for citizenship here. If you want to become an American, you have to go through these questions.
I like where this is going.
and answer, and I feel like we can't blame Brenan because to become a member of the LGBT community, you have to go through a list, and if you don't like Wham, if you don't like that song, you will not be allowed. You cannot be allowed. So, and then there was an incredible song, guys, by Dido. My goodness, on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I freaking love that song. Also, I think most of the Christmas songs, traditional songs, are fucked up. Like this stupid, what are 9 Lords a Leaping? What the hell is up with that?
Yeah.
What are those things? What are all of these things that they list?
Why do I need 8 maids milking? Why can't I just get it with 1?
What are they milking?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what are they milking? Are they milking themselves? Well, yeah.
And who was? They were catching, or was this?
Dude, I have no idea. I had to sing the
somebody
song in
hatching.
choir.
I
have
don't
no
get
idea.
either why
I
it's.
try not to.
I don't get either why it's a partridge and they have to be in a pear tree.
the-
Why does not
what
an
is-
apple or a cherry tree
What
work?
kind of grass were they smoking when they came up with this nonsense?
Yeah.
And then Destiny's Child had to go and write that song about how they want gold, and my lover gave me diamonds, they gave me a Mercedes, they gave.
I don't know this song.
You don't know the
I
Destiny's
don't
Child
know the
song where
Destiny's
they
Child
basically
Christmas song.
Yeah, they basically bastardized that song, if that's even possible, and turned it how my lover gave to me. Mercedeses and diamonds, and they turned Christmas all about getting bling. You know, so that's a
haven't
famous
heard of that
Destiny show.
I gotta
Otherwise,
go
it's
check
great,
this out.
melodically beautiful, beautiful voice, great.
Right.
But the lyrics, if you listen to it, it's so.
I'm
about
looking at
getting
these
shit.
lyrics. These are weird.
Okay.
The 8th day of Christmas, my baby gave to me a pair of Chloe shades and a diamond belly ring.
You know what? I do know this song.
Wow.
On
I
the
just had
7th
kind
day
of.
of Christmas, my baby gave to me a nice back rub, and he massaged my feet.
Wow.
I still don't know this song.
I know,
and
I-
I'm very proud of
it's-
that.
Yeah,
It's actually-
be thankful.
All right, as far as I go, I'm in your camp, Jason.
Okay.
I am pretty much firmly ensconced in 30s, 40s, 50s Christmas music. I don't know that I could name even 5 songs that have been written within my lifetime that I actually enjoy as Christmas songs. For me, it's all the old-timey stuff. In fact, my absolute favorite one. The reason I came up with this question is because one of my Facebook friends put what Christmas song can you listen to over and over and over and over and over, and my answer was the Lena Horne version of Little Drummer Boy.
Interesting.
I love that song, but I love Lena Horne's version of it so very, very, very much. And that song is an interesting song for me because it is, to me, very Christmassy. It's talking about going to visit Christ, right? So the question that I sort of came up with as a corollary to this is, are we more Christy now with Christmas? It seems to me like when we were kids, when I was a kid, you would hear discussions of Christmas on TV and the radio, wherever, but they didn't actually talk about Christ. Whereas now there seems to be a concerted effort in not just the whole Bill Riley keep Christ in Christmas, but TV shows, movies seem to go out of their way to point out that Christmas is about the birth of Christ. And it could just be that I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness and I had a...
You didn't have that.
Well, it wasn't that I didn't have it. I mean, I was always watching TV. I was always...
But did you celebrate it at home?
We didn't celebrate it at all after I got to be a certain age. So I don't know if I was just not sensitive to it or if there does seem to be a more religious tinge to the holiday now. And I just wanted to kind of get you guys' take on it.
I have never noticed in my lifetime outside of church settings, I have never noticed Christmas being directed as religious in my entire life. And I can remember, keep in mind I'm relatively young, I can only rember back to 2000.
Yeah, you're still in a diaper, right?
Yeah, fuck. Only to about 2002 does my memory really go back well, when I was 6.
Right.
So I wouldn't have anything to judge against, but from my perspective, no, it hasn't, because Christmas has never been religion focused number one at any point in my life, and I've never seen anyone else portray it like that outside of churches and very religious people in general.
It's entirely possible that I'm full of shit on this. So that's kind of why I wanted to get...
I think you actually do bring up a good point. Because I have seen a little bit of that in the last few years. And I kind of wonder if it's maybe a cultural reaction to the way that... frankly, the way that our society kind of looks at non-Christian religions. And I kind of wonder if our culture is trying to push Christianity on us more to make us more Christianized warriors in this religious war that seems to be across the globe at the time.
Have either of you guys noticed this, that there's... And again, this I could be completely wrong, but I think it is exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
That when we got somebody saying that there is a war on Christmas, the backlash to that was that there are people now that are saying, well, I'm not anti-Christian. I'm not anti-Christ.
Yep.
So you see now in things where you really wouldn't see. Again, I don't know if I'm just making this all up. It seems like you would have talks about Christmas in just to name some show, The Jeffersons. You would have a talk about Christmas, and they might maybe talk about baby Jesus in the show, but that wasn't something that happened a whole lot in the 70s. Again, I could be wrong.
You know, it almost sounds like it's a big reaction when people start to be more conscious and understand about like other religions, and then the crazy evangelicals or whatever they go against, and they go full power against. For example, you remember a few years ago, like it's fairly new. Like you just start, back in the day, probably everybody say Merry Christmas, right? And then they say Happy Holidays, because there is people that don't believe that,
right?
And sounds like that's a big reaction from the extremists that they're pushing harder. I that's my kind of feeling.
So for me, it is very much the same as this sort of like, it's okay to be a white supremacist movement that's going on right now, since we had a black president. Similar to, we're not gonna hide. We're not gonna. It seemed like there used to be gauche or like inappropriate to sort of throw Christ's name around, freely in mixed company, and that just seems to be off the table now. But again, just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For no particular reason, I started to think about, if Jesus was an athlete, what kind of sport would he like to participate in? I don't know why. Just the conversation. I just drifted into my own world.
Water skiing?
Water skiing would be good.
He'd be amazing at that.
Yes, yeah. I feel like I'm kind of liking what you're saying, because
surfer,
I felt like
surfer. There you go.
Yeah, he would go for these extreme sports because of the hair, because of the beard, because of his loose garb.
What sport would Jesus not be good at?
Football, because of the violence. Boxing, MMA. That's not something that he would partake. He would be. I don't know about basketball. I feel like he would be good at running.
No, he'd be good at basketball.
His body structure will be great for long distance running.
I was going to bring up
Jesus
long distance running because of his body
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Dude, imagine
Jesus
is going to break arms and stuff?
Yeah, it'd be like great. So like he has the
flowing
thing.
All I know is right now, one of
advantages.
us is being highly inappropriate about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
One of you two?
No, one of either my side of the argument that Jesus Christ would kick ass in any sport, anytime, any place, or
he would not tackle though. He might be okay quarterback. He can evade tackles.
But I don't know if he'd go so far as MMA. I don't think he'd break a guy's arm to win a fight. I don't think he'd.
I don't think he'd have to.
I don't think he'd take his elbow right into somebody's skull. I can't see him doing that.
But he might go for like a soft technique. He might go for technique.
He might go for an arm bar, maybe.
An arm bar, gentle arm bar.
Right.
He'd be good at grappling.
I'm sure that we've
Yeah,
lost
he'd
at
be good
least
at grappling,
half
but
of
not
our
punching.
listeners right now.
I'm
Not
sure we have.
punching,
You would
elbowing,
release
or
when the
kicking.
guy tapped.
He would be
There
good
you
at the alternative sports, like you mentioned, surfing, skateboarding,
Yeah.
the flowing hair, the loose garb, the body, light body. He'd be good at, executing moves. He might be good at tennis. I don't know. Tennis or running would be good, but individual sports, he's such a social person. He's a leader, and maybe basketball. He would be a good midfielder in soccer.
Yeah.
Good distributor.
You think Jesus could be a point guard in basketball?
He could be a good point guard in basketball. I could see him with the no-look pass, kind of like.
Well, of course he could do a no-look pass.
Yeah.
He's Jesus.
A little.
He knows where you are all the time.
Yeah, a little bit like the Steve Nash. Steve Nash is a little bit like Jesus.
Actually,
Pete Maravich.
Pete Maravich.
Pete Maravich is
to borrow from NBA players, do we borrow the name for Jesus Christ and call him the point god?
Oh, this is worse than absent-minded.
This thing is getting weird.
Point God. Yeah,
Point god.
No,
is Jesus the point god?
You sound like a fan in Boston already.
I like the Jesus as an athlete idea. He would not do PED. He would be clean.
He wouldn't have to.
Yeah, he's Jesus.
Yeah, he's Jesus.
Well, no, remember,
Tour de
we saw
France.
from South Park, Jesus took PEDs to perform his miracles.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
All right, speaking of South Park, let's go to TV shows. Pick your favorite TV show and tell me what supporting character you'd be. So tell me your favorite TV show, and then tell me what person other than the main star you would like to fulfill in that role. So, like for me, I want to be Roscoe P. Coltrane from Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay. That's actually
That's
quite
your
good.
favorite TV show? Dukes of Hazzard.
When I was 9 years old, there was nothing better on this planet than watching Boy and Luke Duke in the General Lee jumping hay ramps.
Yeah.
I would be. I have so many because television is so multifaceted. You can't. There's a sitcom that I like, but there's a show with a story arc that I like, and then there's Jeopardy that doesn't have a supporting character. Then there's the Daily Show. What supporting character? The Daily Show. That's probably the greatest TV show of all time. But on Breaking Bad, which might be the best show ever
In the last 10 years, easy.
Yeah, and also the story arc, the fact that they didn't, because Lost was the greatest show ever until we realized it's a scam, and it ended up being maybe the worst show ever.
I still don't trust Abrams after that.
J.J. Abrams, what a crook,
Yeah.
and then it didn't have an arc. They didn't have an idea of what they're doing, whereas Breaking Bad had a perfect arc, and it was kind of tough to watch the first season.
So then who would you be then?
I would be Mike.
Okay.
Wouldn't you? That guy was a kick-ass
He was
character.
really badass.
Such a good
That's a good
character.
answer. That's a good answer.
Such a great character. But you know what? The greatest show of all time might be another show that doesn't have a supporting character because each episode was self-contained, and I'm talking about the Twilight Zone.
That's good. That was going to be my answer.
Really?
Yeah, because how can you
Nice.
pick a supporting character out of that?
Yeah,
And that is a great
That's
freaking show.
that's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, that was great. What about you, Lou?
Oh, I started. I was
I
Roscoe P.
would say,
Coltrane.
okay,
Yeah,
then
he
I
was-
would say if looking at kind of, building upon what Ivo said, he mentioned sitcoms. I wouldn't mind being Norm from Cheers. That wouldn't
Good.
be bad.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's
Everybody knows you.
Everybody knows
Everybody
me.
does know you. That's,
You already are. You are already Norm from Cheers. Too late, buddy.
mission accomplished.
Everybody loves you. Everybody knows you. Everybody says hi, Jason.
Brennan?
I have two, and it's purely because it takes a lot for me to get invested into a TV show. Like, I can think of 3 TV shows over the past 5 years that I have actually gone through and watched heavy. And they're from that. One is The Newsroom that I got really into when that was on. And from that...
You amaze me. You are a conservative guy that likes Newsroom. And that's incredible.
If I can... Sorkin can make a great story.
Dialogue is amazing.
The Newsroom, and I probably would have gotten into it if it kept going with Studio 60. I would have gotten into.
No Top Gear?
Well, that's a
in your
different
list?
kind of show.
Yeah?
That's a different kind of show. Like, I'm talking when I say get into a TV show, I mean
Okay.
like a fictional.
Yeah.
From the newsroom, I would want to be Don Kiefer, just because he's the producer that's kind of out of the
With
way.
the eyebrows, the guy, the older guy.
Like, no, black hair, just kind of like, well, he kind of
yeah,
like,
with the bow tie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then just because he's not in the spotlight, but he's still powerful enough there to, and
His
he's
good
just
moral values.
good moral and just kind of frustrated with everything else that goes on. Like, well, I guess I'll just go.
This is basically your role here in this restaurant.
Yeah,
You're constantly frustrated. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You see what needs to be fixed, but you have no
but you still have enough where you can
executive power.
kind of
Yeah.
influence.
kind of. You can influence it, yeah. But
Which is actually kind of the same thing with my other character I'd want to be in The Sopranos. I'd want to be Silvio Dante.
Oh yeah, Silvio.
Just because
Great.
you don't have the headaches of being the Don, but
Yeah.
you still have the influence, and you're also the person that people trust to give advice.
The trusted advisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on Top Gear, you'd be the Stig.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
yeah.
Let me ask you this: what if it's not really my favorite show, but this would be my favorite supporting character
Sure.
in a show?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Then I would want to be Daryl from The Walking Dead.
Oh, see, I've never watched
Is
The
he
Walking
still
Dead.
alive?
Neither
He is
have
still
I.
alive.
Spoiler alert.
So,
I really don't think that's much of a spoiler alert.
So Walking-
the show itself is kind of going downhill, but that character, probably one of the
Yeah,
best
Daryl,
supporting
he's
characters.
a badass.
He's just
so
awesome.
Walking Dead. I gave up on it, but it was good.
Yeah,
it
me
was
too.
very
I
well
quit
done.
on season 3 or
That's
4.
why I say I like the character, really not the show.
We
as
live
much.
in a kind of a golden age. It remains to be seen if the net neutrality repeal will destroy all of this. But right now, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, they have so much income that they're able to reinvest in high quality movies, shows, incredible, so much content. I can't catch up, and it's all good. They're releasing Academy Award level movies.
Yep.
And they release them for one day at the theater so they can qualify for Academy Award, and
And then
they
pull them
stream
back. Yeah.
Stranger Things was an incredible show.
Yeah.
There's so many good shows right now.
Punisher was a great
Boring.
series.
Huh?
The Punisher was really
It
good.
was so hard to watch, though. Holy shit, that
Why was it hard to
dark,
watch?
Because it's
It was
just
punishing.
a dark and punishing series.
It's the Punisher. It's supposed to be dark. It's not going to be all unicorns and rainbows. That would be weird.
Hold on, we never got to Fernando. What's
Well,
your show?
I'm gonna need your help, guys.
Okay.
So already, Breaking Bad, nothing there. Jack Harkness, he's the main guy. Can go there, right?
Yeah, you can't be Jack.
So-
you can be Jack from Doctor Who. You
At
can't be
the-
Jack from Torchwood.
Did you watch the Preacher, right?
I started.
yeah.
I
It's
haven't.
like,
I haven't
it's
made
not
it through the first
Marvel
series yet.
or like I like the
No,
guy,
that's
the
a-
vampire guy.
You like, okay.
The British guy.
Right.
I'm a big fan of that dude. Like he was on a Misfits too. Like, but he's it's amazing.
I haven't-
not really a sort of a sidekick quite a bit, and
Right.
it's just amazing. But besides that, maybe Varys from Game of Thrones.
Game of
Varys,
Thrones.
Lord Varys. Yes, that would be
like he's.
which is interesting because he's another trusted advisor character. So
And I mean, but behind the scenes, like he's the guy that really every architect of all the politics and all the the movies that really shake that show. So
Cassidy, that's that vampire you're talking about.
yes,
Cassidy, yeah.
Cassidy.
How about you guys? Maybe the greatest show ever and the most mysterious one is a show that was canceled after one season. I'm talking about Firefly. The most incredible show.
It really
was
really
a
was.
space cowboy show by Joss Whedon that was absolutely incredible, captivating. It created its own mythology in 7 freaking episodes or whatever, how many episodes there were. It created so much momentum. It drove the fan base insane.
That is
Yes,
impressive,
yes.
actually.
One season,
Yeah.
in one short season, and then bam, it disappeared to a point where there's conspiracy theories that the government wanted it.
What?
There's a lot of conspiracy theories online about the government wanting it out, and it had to. Apparently, they say it coincided with the Bush war in Iraq, and they wanted it out because there were
Dick
too many
Cheney,
references.
Dick Cheney put down.
And so the show generated enormous mythology around itself, and then it was just like this, it was gone.
So who would you be from the show, though? If you can't be Captain Mao?
Anybody that was screwing Morena. What was her name?
Morena Baccarin, Prince or Inara. Was her
Which
name
basically
in the
I could be anybody because everybody was screwing.
yeah, it's like a bicycle. Everybody gets a turn.
Yeah.
She was a courtesan in the show.
She was a prostitute.
Yeah.
She was
Did Santa send her?
Santa,
Yeah.
Mistress for Christmas.
There we go.
All right. So would you be Wash? Would you be?
I like the Nathan Fillion character the most.
But he's the main character. You can't be him.
Is he the main character?
Oh,
Though?
I think he
what
is.
about the pilot guy?
'Cause he was the cat.
He's kind of cool. The guy that runs the ship.
Yeah.
The pilot was good, but I hated the meathead guy.
You didn't like Jane? Jane might be my favorite character from this show.
Really?
Yes, the Legend of Jane.
He was kind of dumb though.
But that was the point. He was
Yeah.
gloriously oblivious to the
Oblivious.
fact that people thought he was dumb. He just wanted to shoot people, and he was completely okay with that.
Really, the best
Okay.
characters were maybe the women in this show. You know,
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
such well-developed, strong characters.
Although
Interesting.
I never really liked the mechanic character, Haley. I can't remember her name, but yeah, she was. I thought she was the weakest.
The blonde woman, or
She
no?
wasn't. She was kind of a dirty
Yeah.
blonde, but yeah,
Yeah.
she was the mechanic. She was the person that took care of the ship, and she slept with the doctor at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Firefly podcast.
No shit.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Let's move on.
All right. All right.
Good point.
Well, we only got about 5, maybe 10 minutes, so therefore we'll get into this very deep question right now.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah. So, do you guys think we are seeing the end of the Trump presidency? Do you think we've seen the seeds of the beginning of the end?
Unfortunately, no.
Why are you saying this? Just because they passed the bill and they're done
No,
with him, they don't need him anymore?
I'm saying it because we are seeing a lot of pushback on the idea that the FBI is actually doing their job. That it seems like there's a concerted effort to discredit not only Mueller,
delegitimize them, yeah.
but the FBI.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
is that a response to the fact that we're coming to the end and this is the only end game that these guys have left?
It's the beginning.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Ivo. I mean, I think anybody who would go after Trump, I think you would see some kind of backlash, whether they were the FBI or
A blogger
the NFL
or
anybody. I mean, he'll pick a fight with anybody.
Yeah.
Do you think that we will see the rest of the Republican Congress back this discrediting of the FBI as a ploy?
Yes.
God, I hope not.
As a ploy?
As a ploy now.
No. They're starting to. He's fortifying his positions. He's finding support. He's actually animating actors in Congress to do the dirty work for him.
Yep.
Let me change the scope of this question. So, I tend to want to see the positive side of things. I cannot see the positive side of things right now.
No.
So I need you guys to help me.
Can I
We're
give
just
So, okay, I'll give you a positive. He's in his 70s, and so death is approaching.
I don't think.
I mean, that's the best I can give you.
Only the good die young. So
Okay.
yeah.
Can I
Valid.
give a possible
heart attack, a big chance.
on
He
your
eats, like,
side?
how
This
many
is-
cheeseburgers a day?
Yeah.
A possible to yours is that we are starting to see an election map moving that we haven't seen in 50 years, in that we are starting to see seats that have never been occupied by Democrats suddenly move
and are in play.
towards the other way. People are having such a reaction against it that what we once thought of as uncharted territory, that it looks like in 2018 the Congress could massively move to, or at the very least the Senate could move to a Democratic majority. So this could be a reaction and also possibly a reversal of what happened in 2010, where we had a Democratic president and a Republican majority Congress. We could see the reverse happen, and that could signify the
There's your positive.
The Trump is not going to be impeached or removed.
Nope.
Ever.
Nope.
Yeah, we are not going to see him
And
impeached.
impeachment is a
say ever.
political process and not a legal process.
Yeah.
It's a political process that requires a lot of votes on the opposite side. So right now, you need 22 Republicans in the House to vote with the Democrats on impeachment. Then you gotta go to the Senate where you need 2/3,
That's never
which
gonna happen.
which is impossible. You need 15 Republicans to vote for impeachment along with the Democrats. So that's never going to happen. It's not going to happen even if they win the House in 2018. The guy's fortifying his position using very, very old dictatorial techniques that I've seen in my world from beyond the Iron Curtain. He's demonizing the press. He's demonizing his opponents. He's pushing directives from above now, and he's doing it finally a little smarter. So instead of tweeting at himself, he's having mouthpieces deliver the talking points on Fox News and in Congress, everywhere, in the press, everywhere. So these are techniques that I've seen used. He's fortifying himself. He's going to be there for another 3 years. So the problem is, for 1 year, there's been so much damage done already that 3 more years, I don't know how this democracy will recover, at least for a couple of decades afterwards.
All right, anybody got any knock-knock jokes? Because I'm thoroughly depressed now.
No. Sorry, man.
Well,
I mean, if we want to talk about jokes, I mean, this whole place that we're hosting this in.
Spoken from the owner's son.
Even better.
Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna be gone here in 6 months. What do I care?
That's true. That's true. All right, guys. I think we have actually hit a good stopping point. I want to thank you all for showing up. Thank you. Sorry, that's a Tom
Thank you,
Conroy.
Doc.
Yeah.
That is a Tom joke.
That was a Tom Conroy joke. Tom, I just stole one of your jokes for the podcast.
Jeremy is probably listening in the UK.
Yes, Jeremy will hopefully be listening in the UK.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Jeremy, the message from the guy that dropped off the little secret package in my bag. Oh, never mind. I'll just tell you that later. Thank you, Jason, for showing up. Thank you, Fernando, for
Pleasure.
joining us.
All right.
Thank you, Brenan, for letting us hang out at your place and joining us. Thank you again, Ivo. Ivo, were we sponsored by anybody today?
But yeah,
Democracy?
we're sponsored. I forgot to look at our sponsorship list, but I believe that for the last couple of months we've been sponsored by the Macarena. 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 Nobody knows the lyrics to this song.
That's very good.
Thank you to our producer, Mr. Eric, to our engineer, Mr. Neil, and thank you to everybody that listens to us. Have a good night.